Yo, what is going on, you guys? So today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about PSA's bulk submission and how you guys can really take advantage of PSA being at $15 per card for their bulk submission. Now, before we get into that, I did want to say a little bit about our membership program because we have been doing extremely well. Before the season started, a lot of our members were recommended to buy up Lauri Markkanen Prism numbered parallels that have since gone up more than 5x in price. By the time this video goes up, there is a chance that we are accepting new members again. We have been on hold for a little bit, and that is just because we want to keep it a little bit more tight-knit for our members so that they don't have much competition when they're going out to buy the cards that we recommend. So that is the reason, but we will be opening up new spots for around 10 to 15 new members in the coming weeks. So by the time this video goes up, there is a chance that we will be accepting new members. If you guys do want to check that out, the link will be down below to sportscardsinvest.com, and you can check out if we are accepting new members again. But without further ado, we are going to hop right into this video. So PSA recently, around a month ago, announced that they will be continuing to keep their $15 bulk submission, and that has honestly been incredible news for the hobby. I know PSA's backlog has pretty much cleared up from what I'm hearing, and their turnaround times are expected to be around 4 months, around 120 days. I've heard a little bit less for some people, a little bit more for some people, but that's roughly what you should expect. And I'm essentially going to be breaking down how you can really take advantage of this, especially in a market where it can be a little bit more tough to make money, especially when you're buying and holding, and say the next comp comes in at 70% of the last comp. It's tough to be a flipper right now who's buying cards for under market and selling it for market because there's simply not as many buyers and a lot of comps are coming in low. So grading is pretty much one of my top options right now in terms of making money in this market. And essentially what I have been doing recently with more recent products is as soon as a product releases, buying a lot of ungraded cards of that product and sending them in, because it does take a long time for the pop numbers to really start to blossom for new products. So for example, a Cade Cunningham Silver Prism from this year's Prism Basketball is going for as much as $550 to $600. So of course, if you compare that to guys like Trey, it's higher than Trey, and a lot of other players who are higher level than Cade Cunningham, but from previous years, where the pop counts are a lot higher. So right now, the pop count on that Cade Cunningham Silver Prism is just around 20 in a PSA 10 as I'm recording this. So there's definitely a lot of room for growth, and a lot of room to make money if you're just buying up these cards and sending them in for grading before other people are, right? So that is one thing that I've really tried to do, because when products release, the graded cards in that product go for a very high premium for probably around 4 to 6 months after the product releases. And that's when people start to get their cards back from PSA, and you start to see the pop numbers climb up a little bit. But right now, Cade Cunningham Silver Prism is only a population of 20 in a PSA 10. So if you want to take advantage of that, as soon as Prism dropped, you could have been buying up Cade Cunningham Silver Prisms ungraded for roughly $150 to $200, sending them in, and every 10 you get is $550, and some have even been selling for as much as $900. They were around $700 to $900. They're since coming down a little bit, but if you had taken advantage right when the product released, you could have made a lot of money grading Cade Cunningham Silver Prisms. So that is just one key example. I'm truly a believer in just buying up a lot of ungraded cards that you can find. I know the max declared value, I believe, is $199 for this $15 card submission. But I truly believe, there's so many cards out there that you can find that, say, have a $200 PSA 10 price, that you can get ungraded for between $40 and $60. And if you can do so and send them in, especially from recent sets, recent years, to where they're grading a little bit better, compared to older years. So if you're buying up anywhere from 2017, I'd say, to 2021 products, you're going to do extremely well grading if you have an eye for grading. And of course, there is a learning curve. I know a lot of people expect in their first submission or second submission that they're going to get 60% PSA 10s. That's not really how it works. But the great thing is that even if you get a 20 to 30% PSA 10 rate on new products, which I know a lot of people are able to achieve if you have a good eye for grading. Those PSA 10s are essentially going to triple your money, if not more. So even if you get other 9s and 8s, you're still overall making a good amount of profit. So I highly suggest that, you guys, I can make a full video on inspecting cards and how I send them out. Of course, I personally use a bulk grader. So a bulk grader helps in several different ways. One, I would say their turnaround times are a lot better, just because I'd say, when you send in bulk, you essentially get priority timing with PSA, because a lot of these bulk graders have a good relationship with PSA, especially the big ones. And if you're able to go ahead and submit cards with them, you can probably, you might end up paying an extra $5, but firstly, they're going to inspect your cards, which is really helpful. I've sent in so many cards to bulk graders, and just them inspecting them in itself has really saved me a couple of times where, say, I missed a surface issue, or something along those lines, or they can just make sure the card's in the best shape possible before they send it in, with years and years of experience. So I truly believe that bulk graders are the way to go. And then in terms of, which cards to buy, I would say any card you can get from recent years where you're making money or breaking even if you get a PSA 9. And likely the PSA 10 is going to be all upside. Of course, you might get some 8s that really hurt you, but at the end of the day, the 10s usually can always make up for that. And that's my thing. If I can find any card that I can buy for the price of a PSA 8 that's ungraded from a recent year that looks to be in good condition, I will buy that 100 times out of 100 times. If a PSA 9 is profit for recent years and you're able to grade very well, one example is my Darius Garland submission that I had sent in back in 2021, I believe, back when his PSA 10s were roughly 350. And I essentially got, out of 17 Darius Garland Prism-based rookie cards, 12 were 10s, 4 were 9s, and 1 was a 7. So that was an overall incredible submission, just in terms of, the PSA 10 ratio. Of course, it did take around 8 months for that to come back, and by the time it came back, the prices were down heavily on Darius Garland. But using these bulk graders and inspecting your cards, I would not really suggest buying on eBay if you can avoid it. My personal favorite places to buy on Facebook groups or in person at card shows and card shops. At least my local card shops, I've been able to scuff out plenty of gems. They're just a shop that doesn't grade cards themselves. So a lot of the cards in there are going to be packed fresh. And then, of course, on eBay, if you are buying on eBay, one thing I highly recommend is that you go ahead and check through the seller's other items. And if the seller is selling graded cards and ungraded cards, chances are they're selling the ungraded cards because they know it won't grade well. However, if the seller's only selling ungraded cards, then there's a good chance that maybe they just rip open a lot of packs and post the ungraded cards for sale, right? So I would highly suggest only buying from eBayers that are only selling ungraded cards, because there's a higher chance that they do not grade themselves and that they haven't already inspected the card. Because I have had some bad experiences on eBay where a seller on eBay is essentially a grader as well, and the only raw cards they are going to sell on eBay are going to be the cards they know are going to grade very poorly. So those are a few big tips I have. Of course, if you have any further questions, you can always message me on Instagram at SportsCardInvest, and I will go ahead and try my best to get back to all you guys. But yeah, I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. Drop a like, subscribe if you are new. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers, so definitely go subscribe and help us out. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'm out. Peace.